I suppose that there's the tools that we use as a team, and then there's my attitude towards tooling. So um, I think like most people nowadays, we use Figma. Um, and we use probably most of the features of Figma. Apart from FigJam, I have dallied with that a couple of times, but I'm definitely a diehard Miro user. Um, so we use a lot of the kind of components in Figma. We use collaborative tooling. I've definitely enjoyed recently the audio collaboration part of Figma, working with my other designer. I didn't quite think about like how valuable that would be, but actually just being able to interact on the same artboard and just talk to each other was incredibly useful. Um, and we also bring engineers and product managers into those files. So it's not just Figma in terms of like the app, but also the browser-based sharing, the exporting, prototyping, all that kind of thing to really explain an idea. Um, Miro is probably our other one, and that's working very much like a whiteboard wall would, or like a set of post-its. And the kind of gap between Miro and Figma, I think, is always shifting back and forth. But Miro is much more about explaining ideas, concepts, bigger level stuff. Figma, I think, for us is about what is it we're building, and how are we building it. We've recently adopted Dovetail. I think that research planning and sharing is a really important element of how a team works together. Getting buy-in from product, from engineering, for or not even buy-in, rather, getting an understanding of the user problems is really important. So any tool that assists with sharing, disseminating that research, I think, is vital. Um, I'm still a diehard Adobe apps person, so Photoshop and Illustrator. We have a lot of very rich photo content we use for our hotels. So being able to reproduce that, being able to easily source that, Photoshop is vital. And Illustrator for content creation. I'm sure that I'll be castigated for spending however much company budget we have for the whole Adobe suite just to get Illustrator, but it's worthwhile. Um, we communicate through Slack, so again, like a lot of businesses, but we also use a tool called Threads for long form discussions and focusing on decisions, which I think has proved incredibly valuable. It's very so if you ever used forums back in the 2000s, it's very analogous to that, but with a bunch of really nice tooling around that. We use Loom for sharing quick explanations of things. So as an async company, a remote first company, it's a very valuable tool if you want to, say, walk through a design or communicate an idea, but you want it to be reproducible for multiple people. Um, and then, so having a wee look at my taskbar here, Notion as well for document sharing. I'm very much a writer. I think that um, being able to communicate an idea and being able to share that idea is really valuable. Designers, as people who think of things and create things, being able to bring others into that discussion is vital. So whether that's Notion or Google Docs or something like that, being able to write something down and make it freely accessible for people is really valuable. Um, but I would say the majority of my time is spent in Figma for any kind of design work, and I always feel very comfortable there.